on today. That's nice. Trees. Trees, please. Oh boy. Hello, hello, and good morning. How's it going? Coffee. Good coffee. 14K night because in rich white America, Cinco de Mayo is celebrated with Chipotle. I even forgot it was Cinco de Mayo yesterday. But that's the funny thing. Like you would go to the most Americanized, I guess Taco Bell would be the worst. Like when it comes to Americanized Mexican food, it's Taco Bell then Chipotle for sure. Everybody's got to have burritos for Cinco de Mayo. That's funny. I never would have guessed that, but makes sense, I guess.
All we had was pizza.
Yeah. Cinco de Pizza. Like the soccer moms of Avon Old Farms would be caught dead in a Taco Bell. Probably not. You're probably right about that. That is probably correct.
Did you ever go to Taco Time when that was still a thing?
Taco Time? Mm-mm.
They're pretty good.
Was it?
They were like lighter Taco Bell.
Oh. Taco Bell Light? I don't know about that. I don't know how I would like that.
And tater tots too.
And tots?
Yeah.
Damn. That's pretty good.
I don't know what happened to them. They just
Got ate up.
Yeah.
Got devoured by Taco Bell and Chipotle. There's like Del Taco. I've had that. I wouldn't recommend it. And there's a place called the Green Burrito that's usually in the same place as a Carl's Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Of Carl's Jr. Green Burrito combos, and I've never once in my life ordered Green Burrito. And I would recommend you not do it either. Taco Cabanas and Taco Buenos in Texas. Yeah. In Texas, the place to go is Las Palapas. That's the Mexican place in Texas. They serve the gravy burrito there. Has to be eaten to be believed. It's good. But I don't think I would ever order it without having ordered it before. I had to see what it was, so I got it, and it was a burrito with gravy on it. It worked. Green burrito is nasty. I figured it was. Hence why I've never pulled through. The worst job I ever had. I've talked about that before. I used to work at a recycling plant, a glass recycling plant, where we'd get these big shipments of basically garbage that would come from the Bay Area that people had thrown into recycling bins. And my job was to stand on the line as it came down out of a hopper. It would come down out of, like, somebody would load it up with the forklift into the hopper, and then the hopper would shake it around, and it would sprinkle it on this conveyor belt. And me and about 3 other dudes had to stand along that conveyor belt, picking metal and ceramic out of the glass, as long as any, like, big trash, as well as any, like, big trash, like syringes were a common thing we found.
They're like, this is glass.
But everything under the sun would come along that thing. Diapers and maxi pads.
Crack pipes.
Yeah. This is the whole 9.
Do you leave the crack pipes?
Yeah, I mean, they're glass. So that was definitely the worst job I ever worked. They don't even really do that anymore. Like, they've automated that job away at glass recycling places now. They've got, like, these little sensors that are over the thing, and it's lined with these little things that'll blow a puff of air. Psst. So the thing somehow is scanning whether or not it's glass, metal, or ceramic, and when it finds a piece of metal or ceramic, it psst, 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 kicks it out with a puff of air. So, as far as I know, nobody's even doing that job anymore. For good reason, too. Did the job pay well? No. The job did not pay well. Let's put it this way. I was working with, and this is, it's a sad state of affairs that this is indicative, but I was the only white person working there, and most of the people that I worked with were undocumented. So.
You were child laboring.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Off the books.
Yep. How old was I? I started when I was 17 at that job. 17, and then into when I was 18. I'm gonna have to either A, come up with a better way of sitting out here, or B, just stop doing these until my back heals. Because parents made you work at home for free. That sucks. I can't find a place where this shit isn't hurting. Sad thing is it's better than it was last week. But it's just slow to heal. Whatever it is. Get a tripod, yeah. Tripod would help. I used to have one of those, like, mechanical arm things that I could put my phone in. I should get another one of those. I could hook it to the side of this table, and then I could, like, kick back and not worry about it.
You want a pre-roll?
Huh?
You want a pre-roll?
I don't think I have one.
You do.
I do?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, then. And I didn't even remember I had pre-rolls. I've been rolling my own like a dupe. Like a stoop. You should get a nice comfy chair. I mean, this chair is pretty comfy. This is my Biker Dave rocking chair. But it's just the way that I usually sit, all kind of like hunched over. I can't sit like that right now. I have to be like back straight.
Get a single one in a plastic bag when I was looking for a lighter.
Damn. You naughty little pre-roll. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's magical. One little pre-roll. Well, is it worth having a what? Oh, God. What happened? Worth having a green card? I don't know if you have one, seeing that you've lived in a couple of legal states, but I thought I'd ask. I had one in California before, way back, when you had to go to the doctor and get your recommendation, and they'd fill out your green card for you. So, I mean, yeah, I've had it. If you actually have medical problems, you can get weed cheaper, typically, if you've got a green card. So I would say that it'd be worth it for that.
And I think maybe in some states that have medical only, you can possibly use your green card there.
It depends. It depends on the state law. But yeah, I don't know. It was such a joke getting that card too. It's so easy.
It's probably harder now, honestly.
I'd imagine. Remember when I went in, they basically coached me on how to get my green card. Yeah. I went to this place called like 420 Clinic. Mm-hmm. And you go in there and there's like a nurse and a doctor. Mm-hmm. The nurse, takes down your information and like you sit down and wait, and then you go in and a nurse comes in and basically coaches you on how to get your green card. They're like, we need 3 medical reasons in order to get your green card passed. So you might say, she walked you through, you might say, I've got back problems. You might say, I've got depression. You might say, I've got anxiety. You might say, I've got joint problems. You might say, I've got neck problems, headaches. They just gave me a list of things. Basically, like, pick 3. Then the doctor came in and I was like, yeah, I've got a bad back and depression and anxiety. He was like, okay. Did like a basic little like checkup on me, like listened to my lungs and gave me like a reflex test, and then was like, okay, let's go ahead and give this to the lady up front. Gave it to her, and she filled out and laminated my green card right there. There you go. I was like,
I mean, you weren't lying.
I wasn't, but it's just anybody could say anything. You didn't check anything. Was the doctor Snoop Dogg? No, I think Snoop probably makes more money than that doctor does. Maybe. .420 Clinic. I love it.
Dude, he must have been so sad when it got legalized recreationally.
He was sad before then because, like, I remember California, like, shut down a lot of those clinics that were just doing green cards.
Yeah.
And made it to where, like, your actual doctor had to write a recommendation and blah, 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 blah. You couldn't just go into a clinic and walk out with one.
But you all got grandfathered in.
Yeah. So for me, I had the green card for about 6 years, and I had to re-up it once. We're good for 4 years. Mm-hmm. And by the time I went to re-up it, all those little clinics were closed, but I was able to just take it into my doctor and say, hey, my card's expiring, and they just wrote me another rec. Shout out from Scotland. Haven't watched you in a while now. Hope you're doing good, Paul. Hope you're doing good too there, Scotland. Aye, laddie. Do people in Scotland say aye instead of yes? I feel like, excuse me, is there a place to stay along this road? Aye. Aye, you just need to go down the road a few miles. Few kilometers. Say aye all the time, huh? That's kind of cool. I wish I lived in a place where people said aye instead of yes. We do in Northern Ireland too. Do you guys call things wee? Like if they're small? Like, oh, look at that wee little pair of boots. Or is that an old thing? Look at that wee little pair of boots. Look at that wee little child. That wee little puppy. That's cute too. I like that. I like the I and I like the we. Yeah, we would be W-E-E, yeah. TJ's wee little penis. Nary is a good one too. That's funny because like my mom will say nary.
She's got a little bit of that Irish in her.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll say, nary a one person was in there to help me. I shit you not, PJ. I walked into that doctor's office and there wasn't nary a person. Mom was telling me a horror story from the American medical profession yesterday on the phone. Been a while since she'd been to a dentist, and she just got on Medicare. She just reached the age of eligibility for Medicare, and so she's on it now. She was having some tooth problems. So she goes into this dentist. This is almost unbelievable. She makes an appointment at the dentist for 2 weeks down the line. She goes into the dentist. My mom's a very nervous person, so she's sitting there nervous. She said that like the dentist walked in and just immediately like sat down without saying a word and started trying to dig around in her mouth. And she was like, "Hello, nice to meet you." And the guy was all taken aback. She was like, I'd like to like at least know who you are and stuff before you go digging around in my mouth. Doctor was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm such and such, blah, blah, blah." And then he gets up to check her chart, and he says, does she have anything on her chart?" to one of the assistants, and the assistant was like, "Yeah, she's been diagnosed with XYZ." So keep in mind, she made this appointment 2 weeks ahead of time and had her medical stuff sent over to them and everything. They'd had it for 2 weeks. He comes back to her and he goes, "I'm going to need a medical release from your doctor to even do any work on you due to this, this, and this." And my mom was like, "I made this appointment 2 weeks ago and sent you all this stuff. You guys couldn't have told me? I had to come all the way down here and sit here for an hour and wait to be seen." And then, so she's pissed. So he sends her to, because he goes through her x-rays and he goes, "You just have one cavity we've got to take care of. So you're doing pretty good. You got one cavity." And she's like, "Okay, I'll get the stuff, I guess." So she goes to her new doctor, because she didn't even have a primary care physician. She just switched over to Medicare. So gets a new doctor, goes there, gets the release form, has him sent to the dentist, makes a new dental appointment, goes in again, goes inside. The dentist looks at her x-rays and goes, "Okay, I see the one tooth we've got to look at." He goes in to start looking, and he's like, "Oh, that's not a cavity, that's just another filling." No shit. He's like, "And it's fine. It just showed up a little weird on the x-ray, but yeah, that's not a cavity, that's a filling." He's like, "You don't really need anything. We're just going to do a cleaning." So over a month worth of acrimony and bullshit so she could get a basic cleaning on her teeth. Didn't even need a cavity filled. It's just like she's going off to me and she's like, dude, she's like, the medical profession is broken, Peaches. And I was like, yeah, I know, I totally agree. And she goes, I guess I could just feel better about the fact that we got it better than everybody else, I guess, but it must be messed up everywhere too. And I was like, actually, Mama, I hate to tell you this, but we got it worse than pretty much everywhere else. How so? I was like, you know that like in pretty much every other first world country, medical help and dental help and stuff are free. Like they're taxpayer funded. So you walk into your doctor and you don't pay a copay and you don't pay for your medications, and or if you do, it's just a very tokenistic amount of money. But most places have a completely free healthcare. I started naming off places like Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Great Britain, Canada, France, Germany, pretty much everywhere in Europe all have this figured out. We're one of the only countries that hasn't figured out. Japan, China, you name it. There are very few places you can go to find like our type of medical coverage where you have to pay for it. That blew her mind. She was like, what? I don't know if it's free in Mexico, but I know a lot of people from America go to Mexico to get basic healthcare shit. So it's either free or incredibly cheap.
And you have all the bullshit of like finding someone in your network. So it's like they're gonna be an awesome doctor, but they're like, oh no, we don't accept your insurance.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. I mean, there's just none of that. If you're a citizen of Canada and you are in pain or whatever, you just walk in.
Or you have to fucking worry about like which hospital you go to if you have to go in an ambulance.
Yeah.
I gotta go to my in-network hospital.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, like just over both of our borders, north and south, people are not sent into medical bankruptcy. They don't have to decide whether or not to buy food or their meds 1 month. It just doesn't exist anywhere but here. Really.
Like Biden's been talking about $35 insulin for like over a year now.
He's been talking about a lot of stuff for over a year. Canceling student debt. Somebody found a tweet from him in 2019 when he was running saying, one of the first things that I will do as president is to codify Roe v. Wade and protect it from these judicial assaults. It's a tweet straight out from 2019, and he sat on his hands along with everybody else and did shit for it. And now it's likely going to be taken away from people. Shocker. I'm seeing a lot of like mid-first term cope coming out of people that helped get Biden elected now. There's been a resurgence in people attacking non-voters, Bernie bros, Bernie or busters or whatever the fuck. That kind of quieted down for a long time. And I've seen a resurgence in that type of thinking. It's like, because they're starting to have questions about it. And so these people that didn't vote for Biden and won't, they're like a reminder, you know, that there was a third way that you could have taken, that you didn't have to vote for this fucking piece of shit. And that maybe if all the people that didn't vote got together and decided on a third party, we could actually challenge some of this shit. So I've seen a lot of that, and I've seen a lot of people like making posts and tweets and stuff talking about how they're doom pilled now. I tweeted it. Anna Kasparian did another one of those routine Young Turks meltdowns where they talk about how done they are with the DNC because they're just tragic failures and they're scumbags and they never do anything. So they're doing that again. They're trotting that out again. It's been a while since they trotted out the full "we're done with the DNC." It was after Trump got elected that you heard a lot of that rhetoric out of the Young Turks. But don't worry, by the time the next midterm came along, they were shaming you if you weren't voting for the Democrat. So it's just part of their shtick. They try to act like they're as opposed as possible to this type of shit. But when the chips are down, they'll be right in the column of all these Democrats again.
And then there's the people that are completely delusional. It's like, you know what this makes you want to do? Vote.
Dude, speaking of the completely delusional, go look at a Joe Biden tweet. Whatever he's tweeted today, go look at it. And like the first 10 or 20 responses will be people who are like, you are literally the best president ever. He's done nothing. He's done nothing, and he's either continued or expanded on pretty much everything bad about the Trump presidency.
Yeah, so his plan to reduce the deficit and lower the price of insulin to $35.
There'll be people like, thank you, Mr. President. I sleep so much better knowing that we've got a real statesman in charge.
Yeah.
Best president ever.
I know you want the best for the U.S., not division. This one's not horribly delusional, but I'm looking.
I find when you go down, you'll find them. But I'm just saying, like the usually the top 3 or 4 or 5 of them are all just like people who are living in some kind of la la land that the world has gotten so much better since Biden. When they're paying more for a gallon of milk than they ever have maybe in their entire life, where people that have good jobs can't buy a house because they're just priced out of the market. Dude, there's a house like right on the corner of where I live over here, and the asking price on the house is $650,000. That house is not worth fucking $250,000. Maybe 3, maybe 650.
It's a McMansion.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't even call it a McMansion. It's just a, medium-sized house in a little like corporate-ass development.
Barely a yard.
It's got a tiny little front yard and a tiny little backyard. It's right on the corner of a busy street, and it's right across, kitty corner from a school, which that probably makes it worth more. Probably lets them put a little more on the asking price if your kids can just walk to school. But it's just like $650K.
I'm trying to think, like the mortgage, like my mom was paying like $1,800 for her $300,000 house, so that's like $3,600 a month.
Yeah, be paying, at least $3,600 a month. It's unbelievable. Bad COVID response, Ukraine war, supply chain problems, inflation's what's not to like. I know, I sleep so much better knowing that we've got Joe Biden in office. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just like, that would be the type of house, or that I might take a look at with Amelia. So let's do a walkthrough on that house and see what it is. I can't even get in the door. I probably wouldn't even, knowing how shady lenders are still, I probably would qualify for it.
Yeah, they say you could, like, theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically you might be able to make this nut. So here you go. But no, it's like I can't even walk in that place now. There'd be no point. No can swing.
Like they keep saying, like, oh no, this isn't a bubble. This isn't a bubble. It's like, think of all the people that bought houses at the beginning of this pandemic.
Yeah.
That probably had predatory loans that were like, oh yeah, you can swing this.
I mean, there's definitely going to be some foreclosure as the economy tightens and shit.
Yeah.
There's going to be foreclosure after foreclosure after foreclosure, and maybe that's part of the plan because a lot of these banks are the ones that are buying up tranches of houses. Maybe they want to seize these properties
Yeah,
and
they're
add
like
them to the
telling
portfolio.
people, everyone that, oh no, there's not a bubble, and then
Right. But I mean, you can't even get clear information on what's going on with that because you can find just as many articles and shit saying, oh, the housing bubble is about to blow. The average American can't even afford a house now. The housing bubble is about to explode. What does that mean? And then you'll find another one saying, like, why this uptick in prices is not a bubble.
or it's like it's gonna keep going up.
Right. Dude, if it keeps going up, that fucking stupid house I'm talking about will be $1 million property. That is so hyperinflated and overvalued, I can't even tell you, dude. Living in one of the houses that was built by the same developer, let me just tell you, dude, that house is not worth $650K. Period, point blank.
Saw them paint it. That's what they did to like raise the value.
Yeah.
Put some bark in the front yard.
Yeah. There's no way. These houses are not built all that well.
But it's got a stupid cathedral ceiling too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a dumbass cathedral ceiling for no reason in it. These houses are just weird. I bet that one over there does have a big old foyer.
Yeah.
Because it looks like it's 2-story.
Yeah.
So it's probably got a big cathedral foyer or something. So it looks like you're walking into Scarface's mansion or something when you walk into it. I don't know, dude. It's just ridiculous. I mean, good on anybody who bought a house prior to all this, but I gotta tell you, man, you might want to consider selling and doubling your money up, or in some cases, just straight tripling it.
But then where do you move? Where do you find a comparable house for what you paid for your house?
Man, on some of these houses, with the way that the value has shot up, you could do a couple of things. Like, depending on how you were willing to live, you could buy a used mobile home
Yeah.
and pay pretty much nothing to live in a mobile home park until the prices crash, and still have enough money to buy 2 houses. Yeah, I guess a lot of people probably would be pinned with like, yeah, I could make 400 grand if I sold my house right now, but
Then pay 400 grand for.
right, like, and what can I get for 400 grand? Not much.
Yeah.
Nothing in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
So that 400 grand, once housing prices crash or normalize or whatever, would be enough to buy a couple of houses.
And rent is just like completely removed from reality.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. People that have rental properties like this, they see the valuation on their house, they adjust the rent accordingly, and they suspect that like if the average person could afford the mortgage payment on one of these houses right now, the average person would own a house, and they'd be just like paying their own mortgage. Some people don't like to own, though. They're equally screwed. I don't own now, and I'm getting reamed on my rent. Everybody else is getting reamed, too. Anybody that's had to move in the last few years, you get stuck.
And even if you didn't, like, they can raise prices after your lease is up.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. wondering what's going on in that dino brain.
Yeah. He just looks kind of sleepy right now.
He does.
Oh, you want to say hello?
Home ownership is a lot more work than I was bargaining for, I'll admit that, but I like it better than being at the whim of some dipshit landlord who barely graduated high school. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no qualification for landlords except money.
Yeah, no. At Correspondence dinner, Joe Biden sure was looking like Mickey Mouse with that bow tie. Yeah. Those types of things just seem like fucking like inappropriate now. Like when these like politicians all get together and wear their swanky clothes and eat their swanky dinner and have their little swanky celebrity studded affair or something, while people are like hitting the streets in record numbers, and while abortion is about to be revoked for a good portion of women in the South, and just like everything going on, we're in war. It just starts to seem gross in a way that, like, I never really looked at it that way when I was younger, you know?
You know what the theme was for the Met Gala?
What?
The Gilded Age.
Are you serious?
Yep.
So the theme for the Met Gala was the other point in history when workers were oppressed to the absolute max and where billionaires were buying up everything that they could. Yeah. What the fuck? So out of touch they float. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Oh man. No shame.
Mm-hmm.
No self-awareness. The Gilded Age. The age when people were worked to death in coal mines with no protective gear. The age where people literally fucking rioted in the streets to get an 8-hour workday because Jay Gould owned the shipping and the production. Rockefeller owned the plant and the competing plant. So now, yeah. That's the point. We've either reached or surpassed Gilded Age levels of different, like, disparity between the top and bottom in America. The Gilded Age. Give me a fucking break. Yep, post-Civil War. Huge labor economy. And just unprecedented levels of exploitation. Gotta love it.
Yeah, where was AOC with her tax the rich ass?
Who knows? I hate how these, like, politicians will tweet, like, once every couple of months a list of things that we gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Ilhan post another one. It was like, we gotta codify Roe v. Wade, and we've gotta cancel student debt, and we've gotta reinstitute the child tax credit and make it permanent. We've gotta blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, why are you tweeting like somebody that's sitting at home, not in elected office?
Yeah.
You and your ilk have the power to hold up any legislation that comes through the House and demand these things be put into place. And you don't do it, so fuck you. Yeah, it's the we gotta do something song again.
Yeah, someone made a good point. It's like they have all this dirt on Madison Cawthorn because he said they did coke orgies. It's like, where's the dirt on Mansion and Cinema?
Sounded
Got
like a
disturbed.
sounded like a pack of wild dogs was loose, and then there was like howling and like sounded like 8 dogs going at it in the street.
Not you, Nudie. You're not a chorus joiner.
But yeah, they're smearing that Madison Cawthorn guy pretty good because he revealed the coke orgies.
I mean, there ain't one compromising photo of Mansion and Cinema.
Oh, there's plenty of it. There's compromising actions to be dealt with. Like, they need just LBJ. And LBJ needed like multiple votes. You know what I mean? He was in a place where he needed like 5, 6, 7, 8 people to come along with him for the Voting Rights Act. We need
From both sides,
right
too.
from both sides. Yeah. We need 2 from our side.
Yeah.
But nobody can do it. See, this is weak leadership. Joe Biden could take a number of angles with both Manchin and Sinema and get them right on board. Get them right on board. He wields immense power and immense investigative power. He can call for an investigation. He can jerry-rig an investigation. President is an immensely powerful position. All he's got to do is brace these people. They'll come along. Then we can get some shit done. But here's the rub. He doesn't want to get shit done. He's part of the apparatus that prevents shit from getting done. And just keeps the home fires burning until the next Republican can push us further right. This is why it's not harm reduction to vote for Joe Biden. Joe Biden, and believe it too, Joe Biden has the power to flip Sinema and Manchin like a flapjack. Particularly Joe Manchin. Filthy rich and probably filthy with corruption, and all Joe's got to do is put a little folder with that in it. What are we going to do about this here, Joe? Because it's looking to me like there needs to be a federal level investigation into all of your campaign finance, because this is unbelievable. Now, I could go ahead and close that folder, but I'm going to need you to come along on X, Y, and Z. Because that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Sorry. Joe, I don't even think Joe's capable of that. I don't even think Joe is that type of politician. Joe's the ultimate greasy glad-hander politician. He's not this scrappy guy like he likes to portray himself. He's a glad-hander. See, we need somebody in the presidency that's going to wield that power for the people. No, Manchin is not more powerful than the president. Manchin is just exerting power that the president refuses to check, refuses to even try and check. I guarantee you, a little dossier work, a little investigative journalism, a little bit of fucking use of the apparatuses at his disposal to look into Sinema and Manchin and their campaigns and their finances. He's going to find enough dirt to flip them, and that's that. That's that.
Or give them something that they want.
Yeah. Make a little deal with them. Elevate them. Say, I'll put you on the Ways and Means Committee. I'll put you on the Defense Committee. Let you, ascend up the party ranks a little bit, but you're going to vote with us. You're going to vote with the party. You're not going to go up and be against the party. And that's that. Number of types of pressure that could be applied, and it's just not being done. market.
What the heck is wrong with those dogs, man? Stop and start.
I don't know. I don't know if that was just like a dog walking incident or what, but it's crazy. I liked Anna Kasparian's rant. Yeah, me too. Saying all the right things finally, but I'm gonna be right back at it. Blue in 22, yep. Blue once more in 24. D, come here. Slow your roll. Chill out. He ain't on guard duty right now. You can take a break. Just zoned out into my own head for a minute.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if it was that or if the chat was just dead.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't really even been looking at the chat. Oh. Earth to Paul. This is ground control to Major Paul. Oh. Thought we broke Paul for a second. Maybe you did. Maybe you're to blame. Oh, all right. Well, I'll end. See you guys later. Bye.